Good afternoon, everyone. So before we start in our report, let me ask you these questions first. What's your opinion about the status of our environment? What's your opinion about the continuing growth of populations? Do you think that we should continue chopping trees down so that we can provide land for housing and we can provide resources to people? Or do you think we should take measures to control birth rate? Or do you have a completely different suggestion? The way you care and feel about the environmental issues and what you think about them is based largely on your ethics towards the environment. But first, we need to identify what is ethics and how it will going to affect our actions towards the environment. Ethics defines what is wrong and what is right. It is a system of moral principles. It is concerned on what is good for an individual and for the society. This is personal ethics. Personal ethics is held by one person. It may be reflected or modified in social ethics of people of similar values. When such a grouping of similar-minded individuals belongs to one organization and state leaders of legislators, public policy is formed. But when these individuals don't depend so much on personal ethics, but depend on the vision of the corporate managers, corporate policy is formed. I am Maria Vanessa Fabia, and together with my team, we will raise awareness about the social ethics towards the environment. Your care about the environment is what helps you to form opinions about environmental issues. These ideas and concerns about the environment has three categories: the man-centered perspective, the nature-centered perspective, and the eco-centered perspective. And that will be going to discuss by my team. Let's get started. Here is Justin Dilatega to report about the first category of social ethics towards the environment.
Hi guys! Today, I will present to you the first social ethics towards the environment. Anthropocentric viewpoint is human are the center. Anthrop means human and centric means center. Anthropocentric believes that in everything else in the physical world should be considered as object that exists for the purpose of satisfying man's needs and wants. The idea here is human can manage any of issues that we have, and there might be emphasis on taxes and regulations. So, what an anthropocentric person think that we should do about the issue of climate change? These are the some of their suggestions. Raising taxes on petrol and fuel to discourage people to use it. Maybe we need to create laws that encourage the use of clean fuel and clean energies. The motivation might action so that it doesn't harm us in the future. The early years of industrialization were exemplified by thinking towards conservation and protection of the environment. Conservation is a concern when humans realize that their demands for resources could outstrip the supply. Resources need to be used wisely and efficiently. Protection represents the concern that pollution needed to be controlled since it poses dangers to human health.
Now, let's go to the second perspective of the social ethics towards the environment.
Hi, my name is Jelly. Let's tackle about the second perspective, which is the nature-centered perspective. The nature-centered perspective defines biocentrism. Bio means life, centrism means center. Biocentrism is an ethical point of the extent inherent value of living beings. It stands in contrast to anthropocentrism, which center of the value of human. The related ecocentrism extend to inherent value to the whole of nature. Biocentrism is a recent trend in the environmental arena. It is an understanding of how the Earth works, particularly as it relates to its biosphere or biodiversity. Biocentrism looks thus at serving the needs of humans and also at the preservation of nature. This perspective puts animals on equal footing with humans in terms of their value as elements of their environment. This approach is responsible for more respect for animal rights and even for trees as promoted by anti-logging groups or tree lovers. Landforms such as caves, mountains were considered as objects that should be preserved for future generations of humans to appreciate and marvel at.
And now, presenting you the final perspective of social ethics towards the environment.
Hi, my name is Dayanin M. Palacio. Me and my partner are going to discuss the third perspective, which is the eco-centered perspective, or what we call ecocentrism. So first, let's define what ecocentrism is. The ecocentrism perspective is one that puts nature and ecology at the center of everything. So there's a big emphasis on things like bio rights. It is not about us. It's about nature and ecology at the center. Ecocentrism considers that resources should be preserved. It is also environmental science. The focus of this perspective is on sustainability and the protection of environment. Man is included in this consideration, but it's no longer the sole and primary factors. A few subscribers to this perspective even attribute the much increased environmental pollution to the development of synthetic products like detergents, fibers, and plastics coated by Bochholz 1998. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Zacarias Taburnal, and I agree about ecology and nature at the center. People who have this perspective might put a lot of emphasis on self-restraint in human behavior and less materialism. Some possibilities are travel by bike instead of car. So changing our behavior. Don't travel by plane because that results in really high emission of greenhouse gases on a smaller scale, like turn off the light at home, try useless lighting and less electricity. And they might suggest things like close down the factories. Obviously, a person with this perspective might feel that economic development and economic progress and producing new product is not as important as a protecting organism or trying to save the planet from climate change. There is an extreme fall of this called deep ecologists. Deep ecologists might have the perspective that we must completely change our behavior. We've got to prioritize the living things and the earth system.
Again, we have three perspectives of social ethics towards the environment. The man-centered perspective, or the anthropocentric, the nature-centric perspective, or the biocentrism, and last, the eco-centered perspective, or the ecocentrism. This perspective helps us to formulate solutions to the environmental problems that we are facing. Let's move forward to the corporate or economic ethics, education, and consumer education.
Hi, my name is Mary Rose Lau, and I will give you insights about the four state ethics and the corporate or economic ethics. The four state ethics are concern for others, stewardship ethics, preservation of culture, and balanced development. Let's define what this corporate or economic ethic is. Corporate or economic ethics is a form of applied ethics or a professional ethics. It examines the ethical and moral principles and problems that arises in a business environment. This forms, values, ethical and unethical practices are the principles that guide a business. And also, ethics that is defined in a marketplace performance is also called economic ethics. Good business ethics are equivalent to corporations that have decided to conform to sanctions, incentives, and those corporate conscience has developed many strategies. These patterns of conduct begins to constitute the ethics of corporations. Economizing in the use of resources is equivalent in having a successful business. Moving forward, let's discuss about environmental ethics or environmental CSR. Environmental ethics initiatives plays a key role to major corporations to impact climate change, water use footprints, and energy use effectiveness. Environmental ethics is also an integral part of environmental studies because it establishes relationship between Earth and humans. It makes sure that we are doing our part to protect the Earth and keeping it safe.
Hi, I'm Kimberly, and I'm going to tackle about education and its relevance to the environment. Before that, what is education? Education is a process of facilitating learning or the acquisition of knowledge, skills, morals, values, beliefs, and habits, meeting the needs of global citizenry economically, ecologically, spiritually, culturally, and more, requires understanding and creative problem solving. Environmental education equips the learners with the knowledge, skills, and motivations to address complex environmental challenges in the 21st century. The more highly educated are more likely to display their environmental credentials and their environmental actions to conduct. Education is playing a crucial role in raising awareness of the environmental challenges and shaping the attitudes and behaviors that can make a difference. A first step in addressing the issue is raising an awareness. Many classrooms already discuss about the important issues such as recycling and sustainable consumption, which is a good step. The commons refers to the things we share as a humans, such as air, water, land, and other aspects of the natural world that the society is sharing with its members. The phrase tragedy of the commons is used to describe the result of industry that doesn't take into account the cost of protection of the environment in the accounting of the price of good and service. This is quoted by Hardin on 1968. Humans must see themselves as part of a nature.
Hi, I'm Aljan Escapati and I'm going to discuss about the consumer education. What is consumer education? Consumer education is a preparation of an individual to be capable of making informed decisions when it comes to purchasing products in a consumer culture. It also develops individual skills, concept, and understanding required for everyday living to achieve, within the framework of one's own values, maximum utilization, and satisfaction from resources. The main objective of utilizing consumer education is to ensure the basic needs of the community are met. Quality of life is improved. Inefficient use of resources and environment degradation is minimized. Changes in demand patterns are guided by the morals of the buying public. Consumers group provides service to the public by providing the medium of complaints and also further education. These are the three demand patterns. 1. Uniform guidelines for label. 2. Ecosystem approach for industry. 3. Better public policy.
Education forms the basis of everything in today's world, including the environment. The more highly educated people are more likely to display their environmental concerns and care. Ethics impacts our ability to solve environmental problems for the reason that individuals have different point of views. Consumer education could help develop critical thinking and face awareness, thereby enabling consumers to become more proactive and to help save our environment. Me and my team are hoping that by your presentation, you gain insights that will enable you to think and to make actions that can help our environment. Always put this in your mind. Nature can live without us, but we can't live without nature. And always remember that we only have the earth to live. Earth is a home in every different living species, and we all are dependent on the environment for food, air, water, and other needs. Therefore, it is vital for an individual to save and to help protect our environment.
Pick up your waste and litter wherever you go. In sun or rain, in frost or snow. Let all the little plants and the animals have their say. Biodiversity, hooray, hooray. The water is so precious, so cherish.